Morning, all. All right, so just the two games tonight in the National Hockey League because the schedule's really lopsided again. It feels like November all over again. So we're going to do the preview, and then I'm going to talk about the NHLPA player poll for 2022-2023. So we have two games, one starting at 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific, the other starting at 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 Pacific. Sadly, since that's in Edmonton, isn't that 8:30 at night for you guys? And the puck drop, because I'm pretty sure this is a doubleheader on TNT, the puck drop could be late. So at any rate, starting at 5 o'clock Pacific, 8 o'clock Eastern, we've got the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Colorado Avalanche. So the Avs start an hour earlier than they normally do at home. February 7th in Pittsburgh, these teams end up going to overtime. Pittsburgh won 2-1 in that instance. We'll see what happens in the second and final meeting tonight. For Pittsburgh, they're 34, 26, and 10. Their last 10 games are 4, 5, and 1. They have lost 4 in a row. They're 1 point behind Florida. This is their game in hand on Florida. They're looking to win it, but they're in Colorado against an Avs team that's playing pretty well. They're 41, 22, and 6. Their last 10 games are 7, 2, and 1. They've won 6 in a row. They're 2 points behind Dallas and Minnesota, but they have 2 games in hand, so this is one of those games in hand. On the Pittsburgh side, Raquel has had a very good season, 25 goals, 25 assists, 50 points. Granlund is still finding his game in Pittsburgh, 10 goals, 28 assists, 38 points. They could use a big night from him. On the Colorado side, Nichushkin's only played 40 games, but he's got 14 goals, 24 assists for 38 points. Rantanen, 47 games. He's within striking distance of 50. It might be the quietest 50-goal season I can remember. 47 goals to go with 38 assists for 85 points. So Rantanen playing quite well. So we'll see what happens in that one. Let me know who you think wins in the comment section below, as well as the winner for the 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 Pacific start between Arizona and the Edmonton Oilers. So these teams met December the 7th. That was an 8-2 win, which means that was a no mercy game, meaning I think this is officially madness now when you look at the number of magnets. The third and final meeting between these teams will be March the 27th. So for the Coyotes, they're 27, 33, and 11. They're 6-2 and 2 in their last 10. They're coming off of a loss against the Jets. They're 27 points behind the Jets for the final playoff spot. On the Edmonton side, they're 40, 23, and 8. They're 8-2 in their last 10. They've won 4 in a row. They're 4 points behind the LA Kings. They're 3 points ahead of the Seattle Kraken as that race in the Pacific really and truly heats up yet again. On the Arizona side, Clayton Keller's become a superstar. 32 goals, 44 assists, 76 points. Travis Boyd's been pretty good lately himself. 14 goals, 16 assists for 30 points. And then on the Oilers side, you got Hyman with 30 goals, 44 assists, 74 points. He's quietly having an excellent season as well. Yamamoto, 10 goals, 10 assists, 20 points. The offense has been getting better from him. So, the NHLPA player poll, 626 players were surveyed. They did not give an answer for every single question. The number of votes given is not the same for each one, which is fine. You know, you don't have to fill it all in or all that. So, if you need to win one game and you need a goaltender, players are picking Vasilevsky for the second straight year. 52.3%. Now, before that, of course, Carey Price owned this category. Now it looks like it's Vasi's. And it's not close. Igor Shesterkin is next in voting with 4.8%. Marc-Andre Fleury is third with 4%. It may surprise people to see Fleury's name there, but remember, he does have cup rings, and people remember the run in 2018. So whether that is accurate for how the goalies are right now or not, that's what the poll tells us. If you need to win a game and you need, from a forward, you need that must-win game, Connor McDavid wins in a landslide, 59.3% of the vote. That's 355 votes that went to McDavid of those that voted in that category. Crosby gets 11%, and McKinnon gets 8.4%. So McDavid is seen as the guy. If you need to win a game, you go to McDavid. And again, we can all have the debate, but these are the players saying it. Top defenseman, I'm happy to see this actually, that Cale Makar is still seen as the top defenseman, and it's not close there either. 63.9%, 400 votes for Cale Makar, and that would be my vote as well. Hedman's number 2 at 11.4%, and then you have Yossi at 6%. And yeah, that's right about where I would rate the defenseman. Carlson, I think, was 4th or 5th, but I just wanted to put the top 3 on the board. Best stick handler, and I know there'll be a lot of comments on this. They still see Patrick Kane as being the best stick handler in the league, 46.1%, and that's the 3rd year in a row. Now, there's going to be some bias based on name. Sure, there will be players that do that, but I think Kane's stick handling is underrated now by general fans. McDavid's number 2 at 28.7%, and then McKinnon, 3.8%. So Kane and McDavid are seen as the best stick handlers in the league. Somewhere there's going to be a Mitch Marner group that says, "Are you kidding?" But at any rate, that's where that goes. Best passer, Leon Draisaitl wins it again. Now I didn't see that it was the second straight year, but they said he won it again. So 25% of the vote to Draisaitl. Kane, 13%, and that is Patrick Kane with 13%. And Nikita Kucherov, 10.5%. I'm honestly kind of surprised Mitch Marner's not on the list. For my money, Marner would be on the list. I'd also have Thomas in there. There's some really good passers in the league, but again, this is the players saying it, so who am I to disagree? Most complete player in the NHL, 4 straight years that he's led or shared the lead in this award. Crosby, 30.1% say Sid the Kid is the most complete player in the National Hockey League. So that's the interesting thing is if you have to win one game, you're going to McDavid, but the most complete player is Crosby. Bergeron, 18.8% for second. Barkov, 17.1%. McDavid did get votes in this, though. And as time goes by, don't be surprised when McDavid's game rounds out, and he's seen as one of the best all-around forwards in the game. Hate playing against, but love to play with. And Brad Marchand leads for the second straight year, 36.5%. Yeah, that seems to be the experience. Guys in Boston love playing with Marchand. Guys playing against Marchand don't enjoy it quite as much. McDavid, 15.6%. I was surprised to see McDavid on the list, just a little bit. Not because he's not a great player, but because you don't consider him to have the sandpaper that Marchand has, or Wilson. Wilson, 8.1% said Tom Wilson. Affects the game most around the net. Pavelski, 21.4% on the list. Kreider, 14.6%. Matthew Tkachuk, 8.8%. And so that doesn't really surprise me. Pavelski is the king of going to the net and tipping in pucks. Most of his goals, it feels like, are just tips in front of the net or little, wrist shots from 4 feet away. Good luck stopping those pucks, too, when he gets them. But, yeah, Pavelski, I can't argue with that one either. Most underrated in the league kind of surprised me. We've talked a lot about Sasha Barkov. He is now the all-time leader in points for the Florida Panthers. I'm honestly kind of surprised he wins this vote at 23%. And I say that not because he's not a great player, but because, I've realized how good Barkov is for years. And so I'm kind of surprised that he's still seen as underrated by the players. But maybe they think despite the kudos and the credits he's had and the Selke votes he's had that he's even better. And then second is Tage Thompson at 4.3%. Mika Zibanejad, 3.3%. Female hockey player you'd want to play the most with or alongside. And it was past or present. So Marie-Philip Poulin won it. Hillary Knight second. And Haley Wickenheiser third on the list. So those are really the 3 biggest star women hockey players of all time, I think. I want to say of all time. There are some others you could throw into the list. But yeah, it makes some sense that Poulin would end up being the leader and Hillary Knight number 2. I'm not going to say that the Americans would have picked Knight and the Canadians would have picked Poulin, but I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case. Best ice in the league, the 5th time that Montreal wins, and they get 35% of the vote. It's really not close. Montreal apparently has fantastic ice. This has been known for a long time. It shouldn't surprise anybody. Edmonton second at 14.7%. Winnipeg has 10.3% of the vote. Minnesota, 8.6% of the vote, and Vegas gets 6% of the vote. And again, from day one, when Vegas got a team, and I remember jokes about the ice is going to melt and how are you going to have ice in the desert, the ice is excellent. That building is very well controlled in terms of temperature. And it works. Now, the surprise to me is Toronto's not on the list. Detroit's not on the list. Chicago's not on the list. Those are places where you would think you'd have the best ice. I'm not going to say MSG. I'm not going to try it. But, I'm kind of surprised that they or even Boston aren't on the list. But at any rate, it's one of those things that players would know. And so Montreal has the best ice. Best road city for an off day. Anybody surprised it's Vegas? No, me neither. The city of Las Vegas is fantastic. Again, that's where my wife and I go on vacation. We're planning on going again this coming August. And it's a great place to go, 31.7%. And we don't even gamble or drink, and we still find plenty to do in Las Vegas. So 31.7% say that's the best place to go for an off day when you're on the road. New York City gets 16.3%. Sunrise in Florida, 11.8%. Los Angeles gets 9.7%, Nashville 9.4%. So, those results don't really surprise me. Although I was kind of surprised Vancouver wasn't in there, but that's fine. Best locker room guy, 181 players got a vote, so there's no consensus with this one, but Marc-Andre Fleury wins it with 3.8% of the vote. Phil Kessel, 2.7%. Hayes and Voracek also got 2.7%, that being Kevin Hayes, of course, in Philly. So, yeah, those are your best locker room guys. And then best shoe game is how they round it out. Yeah, I know. They've done like most stylish, which of course Lundqvist owned, and I think Pasternak would have won if it was best stylish, but best shoe game goes to Austin Matthews with 9.1%. So must-win game forward. That's McDavid. Best shoe game is Matthews. Take that, Edmonton. So 9.1% went to Matthews. 3.4% went to Pasternak. And Clayton Keller, 2.9%. It's weird. It's a weird, strange thing to ask guys about. I can't imagine if somebody asked me, who do you think has the best shoes? I don't know. I don't look at people's feet. But at any rate, best shoe game goes to Austin Matthews. So I hope he gets. I hope they all get awards for this, to be honest. But at any rate, it's when it's the NHLPA that have their poll, I pay attention, and this is part of the reason too why I think the Ted Lindsay might have a little bit more weight even than the Hart, because the Ted Lindsay is voted on by the players. They tell you this is the best player in the game, and I tend to listen to them. One thing I've found though is fans will not listen to the players when the opinion they have is different than their own. My feeling is the best player in the league is Austin Matthews. Well, they think it's Connor McDavid. Well, then they're dumb. Like that kind of thing, right? But anyways, there you go. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.